Okay. Take number... Is this thing wet? I hope not. Take number 45. Okay. My tea fucking spilled on my leg, y'all. Okay. So today this is the first episode of my series called Chats with Chanel. I have my little notebook here. Hold on. Chats with Chanel. Chanel is not my real name, but it goes with the flow. Anyways, here on Chats with Chanel, we are going to open up and talk about vulnerability. We're going to be open about everything. We're going to be real. Ain't no fakeness over here. We're real, authentic talks, okay, where we can be truthful about our lives so that we can have a community where we can feel a sense of normacy, you know? So the first thing I want to talk about is, in this episode, is self-love, okay? Self-love, I feel like, is the most important type of love that you need in your life, okay? From the day we are born, we are taught that we have to find a significant other to settle down and have a family with. And I don't know why they don't teach us I don't know why our main focus isn't learn to love yourself so you can love someone else. Okay? And then you guys do what you want. Like, you don't have to, like, I feel like in this society, if you don't settle down with someone and get married and have kids, you're considered AWOL. Like, especially as a woman or man, if you're in your like 30s even, and you're still single and you have no kids and you're not married, people look at you like must be something wrong with that person. But in reality, sometimes people are happier by themselves, kidless, single, okay? Like, not everybody in this world wants to have a traditional type of relationship. And I feel like people need to start realizing that not everybody wants what they want, you know? And again, nothing's wrong with if you do want to do that, go for it, you know? But don't bash someone for not doing it. And this is where self-love comes in, right? A lot of people, because of this mindset that you have to get married and have kids, especially for women by like the age of 30, a lot of women expect love from a man, you know, and they don't know how to give love. They just expect a man to be like, oh, I like this girl, she's pretty, let me take care of her, give her all my money, and we get married and she has kids and stays at home. That's how it was back in the day, right? But I feel like as we progress more as a species and we progress more as a society, we need to start teaching our kids, love yourself first so that you can love others better, okay? We need to stop putting it as a priority to go out and find love, that someone else needs to love us in order for us to be deemed as worthy. But it's like, learn to love yourself, because a lot of people get into these relationships, they don't love themselves, they just expect someone to love them. But it's like, how can you expect someone to love every bit of you when you don't even love every bit of you? You know what I mean? Like, for me, when I was younger, I was fat. You know, I did not love that I was fat. Even though now I am older, I'm still not fat. But, you know, I like to work out. I really love fitness. But back then, it's like, if someone is unhealthy and they're fat, don't teach them that you have to lose weight in order for someone else to love you. Teach them, lose weight because you love you. You know what I mean? Because then it makes it 10 times easier, because it's so easy to do things when you want to do them, right? For the benefit of yourself. Because as humans, we don't really care about anybody but ourselves. And you might be like, no, I love everybody else, but you really don't. And it's in our nature. I've read this in multiple like articles and books. And this is business books too, and self-help books. People are more concerned about themselves. Like in business, think about it. If you're a business owner, right? And someone comes up to you and says like, hey, can you advertise my business? Or can I, like, say you're a business owner, like say you own like a nail salon or a spa or something, and someone comes to you and they're like, hey, can I put a vendor in here so I can sell snacks and make money? You're probably going to be like, why? Like, no, because it doesn't benefit you. But if they were to come in there and say, hey, can I put this vending machine in here? Because, it could drive a lot of traffic. People could be hungry. Your customers would be thankful that you have food. You'll get more customers because you have snacks. They won't mind the long waits. If they're hungry, they can get a snack, chill, relax. They're more likely to be like, yeah, okay, yeah, because it benefits you, right? So why not teach people do things because you want to, that's why a lot of people are unhappy, and a lot of people don't love themselves because they're trying to portray themselves to others. They're not doing things because they want to do it. They're doing it because they feel like they have to do it. You know what I mean? Which is why a lot of people don't love themselves. But I feel like self-love is something that people need to teach their children, because growing up in this world, and I'm going to talk about my personal experience because that's the best way that I can speak on this. When I was younger, as I mentioned before in another video on my Instagram, I was a fat kid, and being a black woman in America, back then, like even now, still black women are bashed for having dark skin. Like, I'm a dark skinned woman, okay, but I love my skin. I would never change the color of my skin for anything in the world because it's a part of who I am. You know what I mean? But when I was younger, I will admit, and also the fact that I'm tall. Okay, a lot of people bash tall women, but again, my tallness, I loved my tallness. My tallness makes me feel like a beast. It makes me feel like nobody can ever try me, and nobody ever will try me. Okay, I can reach a lot more things, and if I was in the forest running from a bear, my legs can carry me away faster than if I was shorter. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of advantages to being tall. But growing up, I didn't really love myself because of all these factors. I didn't love myself because, one, I was bigger. I didn't like how fat I was. And then I used to not like how tall I was. And I have to admit, I didn't used to like how dark I was. I sometimes would imagine myself being lighter, and I thought that, I'll be more accepted if I'm lighter, or I'll be more accepted if I was shorter, or I'll be more accepted if I was skinnier. And because of what society was saying, and because of how it was and how it was portrayed in the media, like back then when I was in high school, there wasn't really any dark-skinned women who were well known. There wasn't any really big woman well known. Like Lizzo, she's the first big black woman, that's very well known, that's respected. And then Viola Davis, she's a dark-skinned woman who's very well respected. Megan Thee Stallion, she's a tall black woman who's well respected. So it's like you had to, like, it's kind of weird that you have to get validation from society in order to love yourself. You know what I mean? And so honestly, that's kind of what helped me to start my self-love journey. That's not the main factor that helped me start it, but it helped in going about it. You know what I mean? Seeing these people, seeing them flourish, it made me love myself more, which is why representation matters a lot. And you may not realize it, especially for young people, because they're not really taught how to love themselves. If I ever have kids, what's one thing I really want to instill in them is that if you like what you look in the mirror, that's all that matters. If you don't like what you look in the mirror, why would you expect anyone else to? So back to my self-love journey. My self-love journey happened, I think around 22 is when I really slowly started to accept who I was. No, 21, that's also when I started to go out. But I've never really cared about what people thought of me, to be honest, because everyone always had an opinion about something I wore. Like, I remember in fifth grade, I think, a girl tried to bully me. But I just did not fucking care. Because it's like, bro, I got enough going on at home. I don't give two shits about what the fuck you think of me. Okay? So part of my self-love journey started when I was younger, but it still wasn't like in effect like how it should have been, you know. And growing up without a dad, you know, a lot of girls don't like to admit this, but as women crave male attention. Okay, no matter what like any girl says, even if she's like, I hate men, if a girl were to never receive attention from a man again, I'm pretty sure she would want to receive some attention from a man. Okay, and it's just I feel like it's just in a woman's nature. Same thing with men, you know, they want woman's attention. They may not admit it, or they may like act like they don't care, but unless you are someone who really never got attention from the opposite sex in your life, like you've never experienced getting attention from them, then you maybe will not care for it because you've never experienced it to like decide if you care for it, you know what I mean? But if you have experienced attention from the opposite sex, there's always going to be a small part of you that wants that attention again, which is why also people always want to be in relationships. You know, some people might be like, I'm happy alone, but they know deep down that they want someone there to share their life with, you know? But I started my self-love journey when I was like 21. I didn't fully love myself, but I loved myself to a certain extent. I was going out clubbing a lot, and because like I said, I grew up without a dad, so I never had attention from a male growing up, but I knew I wanted attention from a male, you know, which is also why I'm like, you have to, like, no matter who you are, you're always going to want attention from the opposite sex, or maybe whichever sex you like, you know. If you're gay, you obviously want attention from a man. If you're lesbian, you obviously want attention from a woman. But whatever you are, whatever gender you're attracted to, you're always going to want attention from them. You know what I mean? So me growing up without a dad, I like men. So I crave male attention. You know, I never knew how a man was supposed to treat me because I never had a male figure in my life to, you know, expect how men are. Like, I really don't know how men are because I didn't really grow up with any male figures in my life. So I kind of would go out and just talk to a lot of guys and hang out with a lot of guys, trying to find someone to just like, you know, be like, oh, I can feel comfortable around them. I can, you know, call them mine. And I've been in one real relationship. It didn't go well. It started too quick. I didn't really know him before we started dating. Before I even moved in with him, I didn't even really know him. And that was a mistake I learned from. But after him, I'm gonna drink my tea. I started to get really crazy. So I'd go out clubbing a lot, trying to find a new man, which clubs are a horrible place to find a man at. You don't go there to find a man. You just go there to have fun with your girls. And that's something I've learned in my 24 years of life. Okay? But I wasn't a girl who was just going out just to look for a man. You know what I mean? But that's where I would meet most of them. And I would love the attention I was getting from them. Like, I'd be going out to have fun. So don't think like, oh, you only went out to go find a man. Like, no. I went out to have fun. But I would try and start a relationship with a guy. You know, if I met this guy and we started talking in the club, I'd want to keep talking to him. I'd want to go on a date with him or something like that. But again, dateable men are not at clubs. They're not at clubs. And so, yeah, I started talking to all these guys, but I just felt so unfulfilled. You know, I was just like, they're cool, they're fun to hang out with, but it's just like, they don't have substance to them, you know? Like, they don't have that substance that I crave. Like, I want to be able to connect with a man. And again, it's different to connect with a girl for someone who likes men than it is for a girl who likes men to connect with a man. You know what I mean? And so I just got bored of them because it was like, we're not connecting on any deep level. Like, I started realizing, like, I don't know anything about these people. It's like I'm putting up with bullshit because, you know, I want someone to love me because I didn't love myself. So I needed and craved for that love from someone else. And eventually it got to the point where I was just like, you know what, like, why am I looking for love in these people? Like, they don't offer me anything. They don't do anything to help elevate my life. And I'm not materialistic, and I'm not the type of girl to be like, oh, a man has to give me all his money. A man has to pay for everything. Like, I can make my own money. I have my own money. Like, I don't need a man to come take care of me. I need him to take care of me in a way as he supports me and I support him. He is someone that I can lean on when I need to lean on someone. But none of these guys were giving that energy, you know? And I started to think about myself. And I'm kind of fast forwarding a lot because this all happened from age like 22, 21, 22 to now. So I'm 24. So it's been like 3 years. So I'm just fast forwarding kind of through it. Like, I would let men treat me however. Like, there's some men that I think back to that I'm just like, why did you even give them the time of day? Like, I craved being loved that bad. I craved being accepted that bad. Like, I craved someone making me feel worthy that bad, you know? Like, I was looking for an outside source to bring me happiness instead of going within to find my own happiness and to make myself happy, you know? And so with this self-love journey, why it's so important, and I'm gonna get into how fitness plays a part in this, but on your self-love journey, I just feel like you have to isolate yourself. Like, you really have to isolate yourself in order to truly love yourself. Like, you have to learn to go out on dates by yourself. You have to learn what you like. Because if you spend all your time trying to find an external source to give you the love and validation and worthiness that you're searching for, I feel like you can never truly be happy. Like, you're always going to be dependent on someone being there. And I feel like that weakens you. Like, someone who loves themselves is a very strong person, especially in today's society, in this world. Because humans, we're social creatures, you know? Like, we need to socialize with people. But, you know, even in society, we're told, like, oh, like, one of the most important things that I'm pretty sure if I could take a survey on what would be the most important aspect of life that people feel like is needed, I'm pretty sure everyone would say having a partner, being married or settling down, having kids, start having a family. Like, nobody ever says, oh, learning to love yourself or being alone, you know, because being alone is like scary, you know. It's taboo, I guess. Not really taboo, but it's like people are like, oh, this person's always alone. They must be psychotic. They must have no friends. No one must like them. They must be sad. But it doesn't have to be like that. Like, being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. And that's another part that plays in self-love. It's like you have to be okay with being alone without feeling lonely, you know? And for a while, after a while, like, also on my self-love journey, and this is why it's also important, is because you realize a lot of people who are around you don't really love you. There's a lot of fake love in this world because people are trying to get validation and worthiness from others, so they kind of fake who they really are, you know? They are still fighting through traumas as well. And, you know, you have to love yourself to be able to work through your trauma. Okay, if you don't love yourself and if you're still looking for an outer source to love you, you might never heal from your trauma unless that person is really willing to like stick by your side while you go through your trauma and heal yourself. You know, you got to do it kind of alone. Okay, which is why I know in a lot of relationships, people will break up for a certain amount of time, focus on just themselves, and then they're able to come back together and have a really strong relationship because they took that time away from each other to learn how to love themselves separate from one another, you know? And so on my self-love journey, once I stopped really paying attention to the guys, I started hanging out with the girls I was hanging out with more, but it came to me. And, you know, I'm healing from trauma too. Like, I don't know if I'm fully healed, but I handle a lot of things a lot better now. But I'm not saying I'm perfect, but in a lot of situations, it's just like I started realizing like certain qualities about these people I was hanging out with were not qualities that I like, you know? And one way that I started my self-love journey is I would ask myself is like, I started to recognize my own values, my own morals, my own standards, you know, and that's a really important part of your self-love journey is being able to identify these things because it'll help you know what you expect and what you will tolerate. Because when you love yourself, you're not going to just let anybody walk all over you. Like, think about your child, right? Or your pet. Would you just let anybody come and just like smack your kid? Would you just let anybody come and just like push your dog? I'm pretty sure you wouldn't. Would you just let somebody come and say whatever to your child or whatever to your dog? Like, just treat them however and say whatever the hell they want to them? I'm pretty sure you wouldn't. So why would you allow that for yourself? Why would you allow disrespect to yourself? You know, and a lot of people don't love themselves enough to set boundaries with people because they need that external, you know, validation that they're worthy. So they're willing to be a doormat for people just to say that, oh, these people accept me and I'm accepted and I'm loved and I'm cared for. A lot of that is fake, okay? Because as soon as you stop being useful to some people, they'll drop you like a bag of trash, okay? And for me, I'm a very understanding person. I try my hardest not to... Actually, I don't try. I just don't judge people. You know, I've done a lot of crazy shit in life. So I can never judge anybody for what they do in life. The only time I would judge somebody is if it's hurting somebody else. Like, if you're hurting someone else or you're causing someone else mental trauma or mental pain or physical pain, then that's when I'm like, no. I can't respect it. I gotta disrespect it, you know, because if it's something that you just do, like say like someone likes to have sex a lot, why bash them for having a lot of sex? You know, as long as they stay protected, you can give them advice and be like, make sure you're protected, you know, be careful when doing that. Don't just go off with anybody. Like, but to bash people, it just seems like kind of weird. Or like, you know, if someone is a stripper or someone is like, you know, like just someone who just does something out of the ordinary that people would usually judge someone for. Like, why judge them for that? That's how they're living their life. You don't have to live your life that way, but don't bash someone else for how they choose to live their life. As long as it's not hurting them or anybody else, why bash them for it? But back to self-love. I feel like I started cutting a lot of people off because I was just like, you know what? I'm not happy around these people. I don't connect with them. And that's the main reason why I cut off so many people before the pandemic is because I just felt like I don't connect with them on a deep level. I only connect with them on a party level. You know what I mean? I only connect with them on a fun level, but never like, I didn't feel like I could depend on them. I didn't feel like I could lean on them. I didn't feel like I could vent to them. I didn't feel like I could just invite them over and us just watch movies and do absolutely nothing and just enjoy each other's company. I didn't feel like I could do that with them. I felt like with them it was only about going out and partying and having fun. So, you know, when the opportunity arose that I could drop them, I did, you know. Ain't no shame in it. Like, I choose me all the time. Okay, unless you're my child, I will always choose me. Okay, and don't take that in the wrong way. Like, just meaning I'm choosing my mental peace over anybody else's. Okay, I need to be my own peace. I need to love myself enough to know when to walk away. Okay, but back to being alone. I feel like the hardest part of my self-love journey was being alone. Like right now, lately since the pandemic, like even before, I kind of wasn't really alone, but recently I've been alone a lot more. I've started going out to places by myself a lot more. Like I go to the park by myself, I go on drives by myself, I go hang out in places by myself, and you know, I do it without like music and I do it without my phone. And I feel like that is the most healing thing I've done. Like, I've been so happy lately, and it's just like, I don't want anyone to interrupt my peace. Like, I'm quick to cut people off. If you interrupt my peace, you're gone. And that, I like it that way, because at the end of the day, the only person I can truly depend on to have my back is me. Because I've gone through some really tough times by myself. Okay, and you know one thing? I feel like a lot of people don't like me, but I don't really care. Because there's been times where I've needed people who are in my life who I thought were my friend or who I would say is my friend, but they really don't act like a friend, you know? Like, for example, and I'll be vulnerable with you guys, but this is something that bothered me, is there were some people who say they're my friends, right? And I lived in Fresno, which is 3 hours away from the Bay Area. I live in the Bay Area now, but I lived in Fresno, and a lot of people I know are in the Bay Area. It's a 3-hour drive. I would drive up here to hang out with them and then drive back down in the same day, but they would never have the time to come down there. And to me, it's just like, part of my self-love journey is don't overextend yourself. Give what people give. At the end of the day, it's like, you know how you say, like, even like if you're starting a business, it's like you get, like in the gym, actually, in fitness, you get out of the gym exactly what you give. You get out of your fitness journey exactly what you give. And I feel like that should be in every relationship. If you are giving someone all your time, all your love, you know, giving them all your attention, but they don't do the same for you, it's like, why are you overextending yourself for them? Like, love yourself enough to be like, I'm going to take this extra time that I give to you and give it to myself, because it doesn't seem like you appreciate it. You know what I mean? But I feel like I'm kind of going everywhere with this, but I just really want to talk about self-love because I just feel like it's really, really important in every aspect. And I'm going to talk about how fitness plays a part in it for me. So again, like I had said, I think I mentioned it, I used to be fat. And fitness has helped me to love myself so much more because it has given me so much confidence. It has helped me mentally make me strong, okay? It has made me more confident to just be myself, do my own thing, and not care who's watching. Because I know that's one thing about the gym that a lot of new people are scared about, is like, oh, there are people going to be looking at me, people are going to be watching me. And it's like, who gives a fuck? Who cares if they're watching you? They can watch all they want. It's not going to stop you from being great. Okay? So I just feel like fitness has really helped me to love myself more because it's helped me to make myself look how I want to look. I like what I see when I look in the mirror. You know what I mean? Like, it makes me not need or not feel like I need that validation from someone else that, oh, I am beautiful or, oh, I am worthy. Because when I look at myself, I be like, dang, girl, look at you. You doing good. You. I see my results. I see my changes, and it boosts my ego. Yeah. But yeah, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm going on like half an hour now. But this is just gonna be my first video of many, just chats with Chanel, you know, just me talking about a topic. You guys can leave in the comments any topics you'd love to talk about. We could talk about your self-love journey or your questions about starting a self-love journey. What's the best methods for it? Meditation is really good too, but meditation, in my opinion, doesn't have to just be like sitting there with your eyes closed for like 5-10 minutes. Meditation can be going to a very scenic, naturey place and just sitting there and breathing fresh air and just thinking. That can be very good meditation. Learning to be alone is a very important part. Being alone without being lonely. That's a very important part of your self-love journey. My lips are so dry. I should have worn my lip gloss, but whatever. I guess we have to deal with it. I've been talking without it for this whole video, so whatever. But Learning to be alone without being lonely is a really important one. Putting yourself first, figuring out what you like, what you don't like, figuring out what you expect. Basically, like, treat yourself how you would want other people to treat you. Like, if you like to get your nails done, if you like to get your hair done, if you like to go shopping, if you like to go for hikes, if you like to travel, those are your standards. And if someone comes into your life, they have to be able to provide those to you. Okay? Because don't allow people to bring you down. If you like to get your nails done, hair done, lashes done, whatever like that, and you can afford it by yourself, your partner needs to be able to, I'm not saying like they have to pay for your stuff, but they have to meet you at your level. You know what I mean? Like, if you like to travel, they have to be able to travel too. Like, don't let them be like, oh, I don't have money, I can't go, and then you just end up not going because your significant other can't go, or you pay for their ticket because they can't afford it and you really want them to go, and then you're spending way more money than you really need to be spending, you know, and you're basically taking care of them. And this is a problem with a lot of women, and people might call me a pick-me, but it's true. It's like, a lot of girls nowadays think that a man's supposed to take care of them. Sweetie, Jada said it. The hand that feeds you can also starve you. Remember that. If you're letting a man pay for everything in your life, you are dependent on him. And if he decides to leave you, what are you going to do? Find another man to take care of you? This is why you need to have your own money at all times. Okay, because you have to live on someone else's terms. And if you let a man pay everything for you and you never try and buy your own things, I feel like you don't love yourself. Okay, and yes, there's some men that just really like to spoil their girlfriends. But it's like, still, like, don't expect it, but respect it. You know what I mean? So yeah. Learn to do things on your own. Be able to afford your own things. Like, if you like to travel, don't be with someone who can't travel. That will prevent you from being able to travel and will force you to have to, like, stop your travels. If you like to go shopping, don't be with somebody who disses you for shopping. Don't be with somebody who can't also have the funds or be excited to go to the store with you to go shopping. Point is, figure out your likes and your dislikes. Figure out your standards and what you expect from somebody. Figure out your morals, like what you respect and what you disrespect, so that when you meet people, you can find these qualities in them, because it'll be so much easier to love them. So much easier to love them. Like, if you are religious, do not go be with somebody who is not religious and try and force them to be religious, please. Especially if they are not looking to become religious. Because it's like, I was in that. My ex, he would try and force me to go to church. Like, not force me, but he would always be like, you need to go to church, or try and put his religious values onto me. And it's like, I just did not have them because I just was not the same as him. And so it arose conflict, you know? So you have to know what you like, what you don't like. And you have to be patient. Patience is key in self-love. Because yes, I know we all want to be loved by someone else as well, and have that connection and that security and that support and that love. But if you just rush into a relationship because you're tired of waiting to find someone who matches your qualities, your standards, your morals, your expectations, that's not loving yourself. Loving yourself is okay with being alone and not being lonely. Do not settle. If you settle, you do not love yourself. You don't. I'm sorry, but you don't. Okay? Wait to find someone who works with you, okay? Whose standards can align with yours. They don't have to be exactly the same, but someone whose standards that you respect and that you feel like are related to yours. Find someone who's financially, and yes, financially, it goes hand in hand, who's financially able as you are, because you don't want to be making all the money and then your significant other is always broke, and then you feel like you have to provide for them even though you don't want to. Okay? Don't let anybody dim your shine. If you get with someone who cannot travel as much as you, if you like to travel, they're gonna hold you back. If you get someone who bashes you for wanting to get your hair nails done, don't be with them because they're gonna make you feel bad. So just be with people who can match your qualities, your expectations, your standards and morals, okay? And be patient. But that's all for now because this is a very long video. And yeah, give me a like and a follow or subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more chats with Chanel. And be sure to turn on the post notifications. I don't know where it's going to be at. This is my second YouTube video. And yeah, let's join the gang.